Hello everyone! So welcome to our mini Dahlias and Roses floral letter card class. I know you guys are very excited to paint along. And before we start on our class proper, I just want to say thank you guys for your support with me all throughout this year. Thank you for those who keep on watching my videos on Skillshare, keep on supporting me on Instagram and all the things that I do. I really appreciate each one of you, and I hope that you guys can continue to support my passion and my love for art. As a thank you, this is my Valentine's gift to all of you, and this class is something special for me because I love roses, you guys know that, and dahlias is one of my favorite flowers as well. So on this class, I hope you guys will learn and enjoy the process. And again, as you paint, I hope you can tag me on Instagram. And for your final project, I hope you can upload it on Instagram and tag me so I can also share it on my stories. Thank you so much, and please finish the class because I have some announcement in the middle and on the last part of our class, which I know you guys will love. So here's our mini Dahlias and Roses floral letter card class. Hi everyone, so welcome on our mini Dahlias and Roses class, and on this class we are gonna learn how to paint this beautiful greeting cards for Valentine's Day. So I'm very excited to teach you how to paint this mini Dahlias and Roses cards, and let's start. So for the first part of our class, I'm gonna share with you the materials that I am using. So for the water, it's just a usual water in a cup, and I also have with me my ceramic mixing palette. So this is a ceramic palette that my friend made for me, but I think it's not for sale, so you may use any ceramic palette or plastic palette if you want. You can also use the back of your watercolor case, like in here you can mix your colors in this part. We also need some tissue, so this is the tissue that I'm gonna use. Nothing special, just a normal tissue. And then for the brushes, so I have here size 2 brushes, and I also have size 1 and size 20/0. So the size of your brushes depends actually on the size of the flower that you will create. As long as it's a little bit smaller than size 2, that's fine. And you just have to adjust and control your brush later on when we do the painting. Okay, for the watercolor paper, I am using my favorite, the Bao Hong Academy watercolor paper. So this is 100% cotton acid-free paper in 300 GSM. I always use this because it gives a nice effect on my painting, and it's very useful. Now for the colors, I may mix some colors later, but for starters, these are the colors that I will be mostly using. First is indigo. This one is from Mission Gold, sorry. And then Caput Mortuum, this is from White Knights Nevskaya Palitra. Mocha from White Knights Nevskaya Palitra. And for the green, I will mostly use Undersea Green by Daniel Smith. Now, let's start on some brush control and techniques. Okay, so for the brush control, let's say I will be using my size 2 brush. I want you to practice controlling your brush like this. So I want you to practice the thin strokes. Wait, I'll just use this one. I want you to practice the thin strokes wherein only the tip of your brush will touch the paper. And I also want you guys to practice the thick stroke wherein the whole body of your brush will touch the paper. And let's now proceed to our next drill. So in here, I want you to combine these two strokes and create something like this. Thin, thick, thin. It's a curve stroke. It's like eyeshadow, eyebrow. So it's like an eyebrow. And I want you to do it in different angles. So it's just a combination of thin and thick stroke. Now the next drill that I want you to practice is this one. So it's also thick and thin stroke, but this one is thin, thick, thin. It's in a diagonal shape, and again, I want you guys to practice it in different directions. Okay, keep on doing those. I'll give you a minute to practice our drills. Now your 1 minute is up. Let's go to our next topic, which is watercolor techniques. And on this part, I want you guys to familiarize yourself with two watercolor techniques that are very important. First is called the wet on wet technique. When you do one stroke, and when you put another stroke on top of it, this is the wet on wet technique. As you can see, the second stroke that I placed on top of my first stroke is bleeding, and they are mixing. Okay, and this is what happens when you do the wet on wet technique. The second technique that we are gonna practice is called the wet on dry technique. So I'll look for a dry practice sheet. Let's say this one. This one is already dry. Now when I put a stroke on top of it, you will notice that the color did not mix, and I was able to create straight lines and straight details on top of the first stroke. So that's what happens when you do the wet on dry technique. Now I want you guys to remember that when you want your stroke to be very defined, the first stroke at the back of it should be 100% dry already. Okay, because if you did not wait for it to dry first, this is what will happen. Okay, so that is it for our watercolor techniques. Now before we proceed with the painting of our cards, of course, we'll start in practicing the main subjects first, which is the roses and dahlias. Now for the dahlias, here's how we do it. We will apply the wet on wet technique here. Okay, I'm gonna use caput mortuum. So for the dahlia, just create something like this. So apply the practice strokes like this that we have created earlier. And I want you to use a light mixture of the color that you are using, whatever color that may be, and just create something like that. So let's try to do it again. Thin strokes like this. Okay, one last time. So again, use a light mixture of the color that you're using. Okay, so we will let this layer to dry and then later on we will go back. Now let's proceed with the rose. So for the rose, let's say I'm gonna use the same color, and again for the base layer of a rose, we will use a light mixture of color. Make sure that your stroke is not too wet, just so it will dry up easily. Okay, so create another one. These are just our base layer. Okay, and when you create the base of your rose, I don't want you to create a circle. I want you to make it a little bit raw and imperfect because roses are not circle. So just make something like that. Okay, we'll wait for these layers to dry up first, and then we'll proceed with the second layer. Okay, so we are done with the first layer, and as I have checked, it is completely dry already. Now what I'm gonna do is get a concentrated mixture of the color that I used. So this is a concentrated mixture. If you have attended my Skillshare class, you're familiar with the tea, milk, and butter mixture, and that the butter mixture is what we're gonna use right now. It's a concentrated version of the color that we're gonna use. So for our dahlias, what we're gonna do is add another layer. But we're not gonna cover the first layer that we created. We're just gonna add something like this. This will give dimension to your dahlia, and it will really make your painting look nicer. Okay, that's it for our dahlia. So as you can see on this project, that is how I created this dahlias. Now for the rose, what we're gonna do is apply the C strokes that we have created here, and just make it bigger as you go out of the center of the rose. The challenge here is to make it make the strokes look nice, especially if you're creating a smaller version of the rose, smaller than this maybe. It's actually hard to create strokes. So you really need to get a smaller brush if you want to create smaller roses. And that's it. That's it for our rose and our dahlias. Now the next is leaves. So for the leaves, it's very simple. Just create something like this, but cut it a little shorter. So just random strokes like this. Because we're doing miniature, it doesn't have to be elaborated. All the stroke doesn't have to be elaborated. Okay, so that is it for our dahlias and roses. Now let's go to the fun part and create our cards. Hello everyone, so let me introduce to you my newest Skillshare class, which is the Dramatic Dahlias and Roses class. On this class, I will be teaching you how to mix vintage colors, how to paint dramatic dahlias and roses. I'll share with you some color recipes, some materials that I use, brush markings, and all the important details that you need to know in order to create a beautiful dramatic dahlias and roses composition. At the end of this class, we will be painting 4 beautiful compositions that you can surely frame and hang in the walls of your home. Now this class is available on Skillshare, and here's how you can register. Currently, Skillshare offers a 30 days free trial, and again, it's 100% free. You don't need to pay anything, but you need to log in your details and sign up using your credit card, PayPal, or Apple Card. Now, here's how you can register. To register, just click this link on my bio in my Instagram account. This link is also in the description of this YouTube live. After clicking, you will be directed on this page. Just click sign up to start learning. And then after that, you will be directed here. You can log in through Google or just type in your name to sign up. And then click continue and then enter your card details. Your card details or your PayPal details will be asked, just so in case you want to continue after 30 days, you can just continue and you don't need to put on your credit card details anymore. But if you want to cancel before the end of 30 days, no worries. Just go to manage profile and cancel your payment and you will never be charged. Rest assured, 100% it's free. 30 days free trial is really free. So here are my other workshops on Skillshare, and when you avail the 30 days free trial, you will be able to watch everything as well as the other 39,000 Skillshare classes that are so worth it and so worth it of your money and time. So I hope you can register and watch my classes on Skillshare. Now I have sent another video on your email wherein I showed you how to create the letter guide for our letters, because if I do it here, we may not be able to finish because that's a long lecture. So you can watch that separate after this one. And for our class today, I just picked some of the letters because we will not be able to finish everything. So for our first letter, I picked letter E because I have finished up to letter D last time. So let's try letter E. For letter E, this is the guide that we are gonna use. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to erase this guide just so it will not be very obvious when we paint our watercolor on top of it. Okay, now we are gonna place some of the roses and dahlias. Now for the dahlias and roses, which are the main subjects, you have to spread it. Now I'll do the roses first and add some of the base here. And then next, I'll add base for my dahlia. You may use other color if you don't like what I'm using. Make sure that your brush is small and it's not too watery, just a little bit watery, so that your strokes will dry up easily. Okay, we'll wait for this one to dry. Now I am going to add a little bit of the leaves already while waiting. So you can add little strokes like this, little thin strokes. Okay, so we are done with the leaves as well as our first strokes. We will let these layers to dry up first before we add another layer. So our first layer is already dry. Now we are gonna add another layer. I'll do the roses first. Again, make sure that your strokes are so small. if you're interested to learn how to paint dahlias and roses, I have a class that I just recently uploaded on Skillshare that you can watch. It's the dramatic Dahlias and Roses class, where you will learn how to paint dahlias and roses and mix dramatic vintage colors. So it's a very nice and fun class that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. Okay, so we are done. Now I'm gonna add a calligraphy below it. And remember, if you're following me on Instagram, I asked you guys your name, and for those who would like their name to be one of the samples for this workshop, just type in your name below. And some of you answered, so one of those people is Edmar. So hi Edmar, I hope you're watching. We are gonna do a calligraphy of his name. So for calligraphy, all you have to remember is when you do upstrokes, it should be thin strokes, and when you do downstroke, it should be thick strokes. For my next workshop on Skillshare, I will be teaching you how to write classic calligraphy that you can pair with your watercolors. So I hope you can watch that also. And now let's proceed in creating a calligraphy for Edmar. So E is thin, then thick. And that's it for our letter E. Now, I'm gonna get some more of my papers and let's do 2 more letters for this class. Okay, it looks awkward, but later on we'll be able to fix that. Okay, let's erase, but this is our guide. You can create your own Valentine's card with the letter of your choice, but you can also follow along. Okay, so for the next color, I will be using, what is a nice color combination? Purple and beige. I'll be using purple and beige for our next color. So white, and then for purple, this one. Okay, so first is the roses. So for the roses, I'll use purple, and I'm gonna add a light mixture of the color. Okay, for the next one, I'll do the dahlias. I should make this a dahlia instead. So dahlias. I hope you guys are enjoying our class right now. This is one of my favorite topics. You know, I love roses, and dahlia is one of my favorite flowers as well. So this is a nice class for me. Okay, so as I was saying, so I hope you guys can follow me on Instagram because I will be having a giveaway soon, and I also announced my new classes and all of the things that are upcoming for my business on Instagram. So I hope you guys can follow and support me there. And also, if you're on Skillshare, I will launch a lot of beautiful classes this year So please follow me on Skillshare and watch my class because I'm sure everything will be worth it. And if you're not yet on Skillshare, I hope you can register. I am giving 30 days free trial for those who will register using my link. The link is on the description box below. So I hope you can join Skillshare because it's so worth it, I'm telling you. If you are living in the Philippines, it's just 250 pesos a month. And if you are living abroad or outside the Philippines, maybe in the US, it costs around $10 per month if you will get an annual subscription. And I am sure that the annual subscription is so worth it because there are a lot of beautiful classes, including mine, on Skillshare. I have currently 9 classes on Skillshare, and I will upload more on the coming months. So the next class that I will be uploading is classic calligraphy, and then after that I will be uploading some more classes about painting and watercolor and gouache. Okay, so let's add some leaves on this part. If you're following along and you're done already, please post your work on Instagram so I can see it and repost it on my page. Okay. I'm very excited to see your work about this, guys. So the name of the student that commented, her name is Sharga. So I hope, Sharga, you're watching right now. We are gonna do a calligraphy of your name. So thin, thick, and then thin. Oops, don't forget that dot. Sharga. Okay, so let's now go to our next letter and our last letter. But again, you guys can do all the letters if you want. And I hope you can upload your project and tag me on Instagram. Okay, so the next letter that we're gonna create is letter J. And this is how we do letter J. So it looks like letter F, but that's letter J. Okay, so I'm gonna erase our guide. And the first person who commented or who placed her name on the question box that I posted on my Instagram story last week was Jelcy. So her name will be the one that we're gonna do later on. So okay, we'll do the roses first. And for the roses, I would like to use red because it's Valentine's. I'll do red and pink. Okay, let's do the dahlias. So for the dahlias, I'll be using light pink. Please be creative with the colors as well. It's so okay if you're not gonna use the colors that I'm using. I want to see how you guys will mix colors and how you guys will put out your creativity by combining two colors. Okay, so we'll do the roses first and add details. Oops, it's not yet dry. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the dahlia part. Okay, so now let's go to the calligraphy, and we are gonna calligraphy the name Chelsea. So Chelsea, this is for you. I hope you're watching. Okay, so that is it for our card making. I hope you guys were able to follow along. Now don't go out because I have an announcement to make, and this one is exciting. So see you in a bit. Okay, so thank you so much for finishing our class, and if you have any question, just type it on the comment section. Now here's the surprise. Since it's Valentine's Day and I want to reward you guys, all those who will take my Dramatic Dahlias and Roses class on Skillshare will get an entry to my upcoming live workshop. This is an exclusive workshop only for those who will finish this class. And aside from that, all of you will get an entry for my raffle where you can get a chance to win this beautiful watercolor set from Nevskaya Palitra. So all the mechanics is listed on my Skillshare profile, so I hope you guys can follow and visit me. I'm very much excited to see how you guys will go to your next level, and see you on Skillshare. Thank you so much, guys!